This is the ever popular rescue against the new kid on the block in the 9-wood. These things are becoming ever popular on the tour. In this video today, we're going to get into a little bit as to why, but also where this still has its place and how you make a decision, no matter if you're a new golfer, you're an elderly golfer, you're someone with speed, or you're an absolute gamer. We're going to take you through different lies, starting here on the beautiful tee deck at the Kingdom, moving into the rough, giving ourselves some tricky lies and some good lies, defining what good looks like. Then I'm going to take it onto the nemesis for a lot of people, me included, the grainy, horrible, sandy lie where you've got to get up and down and it's clutch and you need it. That's right, these clubs are important in that area. And we'll close with some trap shots. And you know I like the sand, so it could be a trap shot masterclass to help you put a cherry on top as to which one of these you need to play. TP5X golf ball, that is what I play. We don't change that for these videos. I'm going to try and pop a good solid 9-wood down there, and I want to just focus on two numbers on my full swing kit launch monitor. So I'm going just at the street lamp, perfect, get your routine. Nice golf shot, a lot of height. I will add, the last video I made on this, I think the conclusion was that the 9-wood was really good. I think that's where Q and I ended up, but I haven't played it since. Now that came out with 5,000 spin. This is a PGW, a new shaft from KBS. I've gone 80X, quite heavy, tipped it. Now, the Rescue 4 that I'm gonna have is gonna be a little bit stronger in loft, but keep that 5,000 number in mind, because that is the one that is really gonna be the touch point that sets the two clubs apart. And it's also then going to tee up the rest of the video as to what you should look for and how you make these choices. So obviously, you put it down, completely different feel. I mean, the length of the two golf clubs, I've been making these 9-woods and 7-wood shorter and shorter. Now it goes against where I'm at in terms of a feel, because the golf shaft now feels long because of the perception of being against the small head. What does that mean for a player before I hit this? If the shaft is long, you can't get on top of the golf ball and flight one down. Now, I know that that shot we just hit launched fairly high. Let's get a number on that. So that first 9-wood out the gate gave you a launch angle of 12.3. So again, we go half of the blade. Remember, on everything I do, for launch, to give you a decent number as a good player, always half of the loft on the blade. So 24, 12 loft, 5,000 spin. That is your flavor on that. I feel like I can get on top of it. I feel like I can trap it if I need. The apex of the golf shot was quite high. Again, we're getting beyond the spin number, but that will be something I might look at. So what the 9-wood is designed to do is hit it pretty high. I've got 99.6 club speed and I have an apex of 97. So we know when we go through our iron fitting videos that I've done on the channel, if those two numbers can be fairly close, then that's quite efficient, unless you're playing in a gale on the coast of a links golf course with Port Rush coming up. Then I give it the hybrid club. Again, the length feels longer because of the perception, but let's just take a look at that spin rate. I'm expecting it to spin a hair more. Nice enough shot, hit pretty similar, fairly low out the blade, launched a bit lower, but this one's got 19 degrees on it. Spin 5,400 because it was hit low out the blade. Like I said, I'd be expecting a hair more spin out of this golf club. Now keep in mind, the comparison I'm making between the two has got a big difference in loft. You've got 24 versus 22. So there's 2 degrees difference in loft, and it's still spun more. Longer golf shaft, that impacts how you turn onto it and the feel. But you can really see, and even that one was a little bit of a pull, but my spin rate number 8.8 launch, 5,300. Apex, that was 97 on the club speed, apex 84. So it's not coming out as high, but what you're getting is you're getting this floaty, spinny ball flight that then is descending and landing a bit softer. Again, if I just throw in the 9-wood to give you the example on that, you're going to see a much higher ball flight into breeze. Little underneath that one, not the best shot. 5,200, so similar. So much higher, more forward, not got the flight where it rises, and then that's 4,800. So let's just break that down and the importance when you're looking at these two golf clubs of that number. So you can see it's got the weights in the soles. That then impacts the CG location, center of gravity. When you have a larger sole like the 9 wood from back to front, how that goes down and cuts through the turf gives you a different feel. If you happen to be a golfer who struggles a bit to play the rescue because it looks small to you, then the 9 wood's going to come to your rescue. If you happen to be someone who struggles to get the ball in the air, the 9 wood is going to come to save you in that scenario too. So much larger head, much easier to hit. So for our higher to mid handicap golfers, if you're looking to make a choice based purely on ease of hit, because you can't get the ball in the air, 9 wood's going to be the route you go instead of the rescue. Now, for the good player, you might want to be able to turn onto this golf club. So I've now got the golf ball back in my stance. Yes, it's a short golf shaft. I'm trying to hit that golf shot where it comes out with a much lower apex. You can see the launch was now down at the 9.2, so I got it going, and I apexed that at 80. But for that stronger, better player with more speed, you absolutely are going to be able, now I hit that 9 wood really well, but if I put this ball back, and that was a cut golf shot, so that wasn't even hit as pure as the 9 wood, but the apex on that golf shot, 61. So this club, this rescue club, I'm able to do a lot more with it. If I'm a better player, I'm able to do a lot more with it in controlling the trajectory. So the first 60 apex. So the things I've been talking about already, speed off the face, you're going to get a little bit more forgiveness, a little bit more speed, ease to get in the air of the 9 wood. The height is going to be significantly higher. The playability, in order to hit it high and low, the rescue gives you, even with the shorter golf shaft perception because of the size of the head, the rescue club gives you much more versatility in terms of movement and moving it from left to right, right to left. From there, let's touch on, and we might move locations, a little bit about how this sole can help you out of different lies. All these comparison videos are great. Look, 9 wood versus 5 wood, driver versus mini driver, and today we're doing 9 wood versus rescue. I love it. It's very important. But you know, you have to be honest with yourself about the golf course you play and the type of golfer that you are. What do you need? There's point number 1. But what does your golf course demand from you? Keep that at the forefront of your mind as you watch through this video, because it really will impact where you land. So one of the things I'd like you to do when it comes to testing golf clubs, you're going to be in a fitting bay, aren't you? Most of you out there, dependent on the level of the fitting experience you're going through. You do need to get somewhere like this, and I don't see it enough in fitting, where yes, we've had the grass tee, brilliant, but guess what? Not everything's perfect. And these clubs, part of the benefit for them, look, if you're the happy handicapper and you're off of 100 and you're looking at this just wanting distance, I've already said to you, 9 wood is the way to go because you add spin. But if you're a good player, you're going to want to get into the down and dirty of this, right? Which is trampled down. I mean, if you're a really good player, this is going to be like tournament course rough that gets trampled down. That golf ball is not sitting particularly well. Both of these clubs will specialize out of here. But the benefit for the higher handicap with the 9 wood is you can have more mass, more footprint. And you can also see here as I'm doing these practice swings, if I'm trying to hit down on it, and we'll see if we can get an attack angle out of this with full swing, but hitting down on it to try and get it forward shouldn't be an issue. I mean, this is pretty nasty lie. So down on it. And you take the divot, you chunk that thing forward and out of there. If I look at this, I've got attack angle -2. I'm able to hit down on the club. Now also have a little look at that Q-Mondo. It's caught a bit of munch on it because of the leading edge. Get that on the quote list, munch. means dirt. Because of the leading edge and going down, this thing's able to go in and then pop out. And that's where these have come on a long way. Because of the further back, deeper center of gravity, it then comes out. We can even check our apex, because we're a professional establishment and set up for a YouTube channel. So if we look at the apex on that golf shot, 42, just chopping it out and getting it forward. Then if you get a slightly easier lie, get the munch off, no worries. Now what I'm able to do is just hit full send off of that cushy lie, and this thing should almost go out with less spin, but rock it forward. Yeah, I mean, that had no spin whatsoever. It's a jumper, but Jesus, Q, they're the shots that make me think you got to play this thing. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not a good lie, mate, you know? It's not a good lie. I think Q might even have one, but the spin rate has dropped to 3658. So you've lost versus the standard shot. You've lost 2,000 spin. What does that mean if you're not aware of launch monitors? Spin is needed to keep the ball in the air. Q and I are sort of laughing at that because it comes out quite... Again, the trotty phrase is nuky, so nuclear, but it means it comes off and it, what's the word for this, Q? Tumbles, dives, tumbles. There you go, thanks, mate. It dives, it jumps forward, and off it goes for you. Now, that's great, again, if you're just looking for distance out the munch, out the rough. There's so many going on the quote list here, Q. Hopefully people are keeping up. But if you then take the rescue, then now, because of the smaller footprint, you're going to get a bit of control on this puppy out the rough. So that one's maybe not lying so bad. Let's give ourselves, I mean, that's horrific. Absolute minging. Bad lie. Let's just see if we can get this out first. How good's that? Every freaking time I hit these rescues, I'm like, how good are they at the Kingdom? That came out though. Could you see the spin on it, Q? 5,940. That right there is why the rescue is not dead. I saw a video the other day, I'm not going to mention who did it, and it was talking about spin rates. You must understand, more speed, so better player, who moves the golf club well, needs backspin to create height and then descent angle, because they want to get the ball either shaped left to right, right to left, or landing soft, or to a number. The better players watching this are not obsessed with hitting it far. If your game isn't quite there yet, then you want that knuckly, nuclear, domey shot that we just hit. So the real question is, for a good player, which is why you see it on tour with Fleetwood and Dustin and company, there's room for both based on the golf course. But I think, I mean, that lie I just hit out of was dog. It was awful. I even went at it with an attack angle of -4.2. So I had to go down to get that one, but the result was a nice ball flight. Then I put it in this easy lie, easy-ish, and you know, it's no problem. I don't really know if I need to even make any adjustments here. Just look at the street lamp, just think Happy Gilmore, happy place, street lamp, happy place. Now that's come out a little bit nuky because we're out the rough. You now know what that means. A bit domey. But let's have a look at the spin rate, 2,891. So if that's a 22, that's the equivalent of a 4-iron. Personally, I'd like to see about 3,500, 4,000 spin for a good player. If you're not having the speed, or you're a bit older, of a good player, then you want a little less spin, but you want more launch. But we're coming out the rough. I mean, I've had to dig down for all of them. I've given a pretty good effort at that. I'm actually going to replace the divot so that Halsey doesn't get moody. Not that he ever does, legend of a bloke. But let's put this back. But the point is, look at the situation I'm testing my club in. I'm not even on the practice tee. I've brought my full swing kit over here, easy to set up. I've then got some real data, and I've been able to answer the questions for you guys that spin is going to help you if you've got speed. And if you don't have speed and you need help, then the 9 would. So back to my guy that saw me in KBSX the other day and had a bag of both. You're more beneficial putting in, based on the age and the speed profile, things that are going to help you for yardage in the 9 wood that will then give you distance. Also, you gain confidence from having this shorter golf shaft that you can get in over and get on top of. But understand, as a good player, if you've got speed, I find it very hard to keep the apex down. Like, it's going to float, it's going to go high, it's not going to have the spin on it that this will have, which sometimes means no control. Other areas we can look at to give you a little snack and a little enjoyment here. I'm going to go for this little sandy lie on the side of the green here and hit a couple of like putt chips with these things. Let's see how they perform there. You get these shots certainly in California where the grass goes dormant. Even here, look, they're trying to do a bit of maintenance, and I've got this grainy, horrible lie. This is one where, yes, you can put the ball back, get steep on it, but if you're not an absolute swordsman and you don't fancy that, you've got to then get into the putting situation. And how easy is that? But you're literally just putting the rescue club, and I think it's undersold with these clubs. When people test them, I never practiced this shot, so I'm purely going off of feel and God-given talent, which God help us there, Q. But I mean, I basically think I might need to be chipping with a rescue club, even though I don't carry one. But let's see how the 9-wood does, because you see Colin Morikawa, you see all these boys at the tour events testing these out. Obviously the lie angle, you got to get a bit far away from it. This doesn't quite look as easy as the rescue. I've had to hit that a bit harder. I'd say this is not as easy as it is with the rescue club. See how that's coming off with a bit of loft? Ball back a bit. By the way, it's gone to 2 feet, so it's not that bad. They're skipping a bit more. Maybe there's a plus side there with the rescue club because you can have a little less loft on it, but obviously the smaller footprint, the center of gravity being further forward, it helps you out there. So I might give it a plus point for both golfers in this place. We'll hit one out the trap and then we can wrap this video just to give you the full picture. Okay, so we're in the trap, fairly decent lip in front of us. Rescue first. I've actually given this not a bad lie. Let's mess that up a bit, not make it too easy. Bit of sand behind that one, that'd be pretty normal. Going out of that rock there, get your footing, hold on to it a bit tighter because that shortens the muscles in your arms. And then let's see what we can do. I mean, pretty easy to get out of the bunker. And on the same note, came out with a decent spin rate, 3.658. I mean, that's kudos to the full swing kit as well, because this isn't the easiest shot for it to pack. To pick up. And let's see the 9-wood. Grip's covered in sand, I look like a pro here. Right, 9-wood, not great lie. I feel like this will be easier, just because I think the launch will be a bit easier. Yeah. So that's where the height, I could actually, look, I went down a bit deeper on that one. Might be worth seeing the two shots and just comparing them. So 13.2 on the launch, attack angle 3.4 down. Let's have a look at the shot prior. So we had 3.2 down versus attack angle 1.8 down and launch 7.8. So if you're going to use it out the traps, then I think the benefit of the launch of the 9-wood, you're going to get a bit more out of the bunkers based on the fact that it's got that back CG and you can just get that puppy moving, no worries. Oh, Jesus. It happens every time, Q. We've done another random video on a lofted fairway wood versus a rescue. I basically feel like I want to put both in play. I think realistically on the golf course, by the way, your fitting, I'd love it to be exactly like this. T-block, rough, grainy, sandy chipping in the trap to finish it off. You make your decision. Summarizing who should play which one. I think for a really good player, it's very much course dependent. Also preference dependent. How confident can you get as a great player with all this back CG and getting over the golf ball? Can you flight it? Can you get the standard shot that you want to go the yardage you need to perhaps play a certain par 3? Can you get it out the rough? Because that's then going to help you for sure. But this is also going to have a lifespan for you and it's going to have a place for you. It gives you a bit more spin. It gives you a bit more versatility. You're never going long of something with this because you can control that spin rate a little more than you can with the lower spinning 9-wood. So for the great player, you might want to be looking at both. I think if you don't have speed, anytime you can then knock spin off and get ease of launch, these 9-woods are really going to help you out. So if you're someone who's struggling with speed or struggling with strike, take the extra surface, the extra mass in the head, the hitting area, just lean into it. 9-wood's going to be something that can really help you get better. And at the end of the day, if you're perhaps more of a traditionalist, and this is perhaps something you can't pallet because you do hit it high anyway, well, rescue is you all day.